invitation to the Plaza Classic Film Festival. I think this is my 6th or 7th year being part of this, and being a part of this event and being here this week has been very meaningful in a lot of ways to me, to see the unbreakable spirit of all of you, and it's something that I think anybody who witnesses it firsthand can take back to their own community, and you are an example to everyone. I didn't expect to say that, it just kind of came out. So I meant to say that on TCM we just concluded a month of science fiction on Turner Classic Movies, and one of the films that we showed, it was a premiere for TCM, and it was a film called Star Wars. And a few years ago, I was actually here on this stage introducing that film, and I made the claim that Star Wars is not science fiction, because it's not. It's more of a Western, it's more of a fantasy, and I got a lot of strange looks from you guys about that. But that's another story. I will say, though, that this film is deeply science fiction. This is the very definition of what the best of science fiction can do. It's the very definition of what writers like Arthur C. Clarke, the writer of this story, or Isaac Asimov, or H.G. Wells. This movie is a representative of what great science fiction is and how it is defined. When this film came out in 1968, science fiction at the time was kind of in a doldrums after a heyday in the 50s with films like War of the Worlds and The Thing from Another World and Invasion of the Body Snatchers and so many others, or Forbidden Planet, that's a good one too. It kind of fell into an exploitative era. Roger Corman made a lot of cheap science fiction, and there were others too that, not to denigrate them, but they didn't really approach science fiction in a serious way. Stanley Kubrick, though, was a filmmaker who was very much a fan and very much a disciple, really, of science fiction. And he wanted to create a film that was as much, really more of an experience rather than just a movie. He wanted something that was really reaching beyond what anybody else, whether it was science fiction or any other genre, were even attempting to do. And what Kubrick wanted to do with this film was make a film about the evolution of human intelligence. That, if you were to give 2001 a log line, that's what I would call it. The evolution of human intelligence. Who among us in Hollywood and elsewhere today would try to make that kind of movie? Not very many. Nevertheless, this film is deeply influential on filmmakers and artists of today, from Christopher Nolan to Steven Spielberg, Steven Soderbergh, J.J. Abrams, and so many others. This is a touchstone for a generation of filmmakers and film fans. And as I said, Kubrick approached this film as an experience, and to that end, he worked with people who helped him achieve that. And make no mistake about it, Kubrick was the auteur and the driving force behind this film, but there were so many others that helped bring it to screen, most notably Arthur C. Clarke, the co-writer of the film. But another person that really bears mention, a lot of mention, is Douglas Trumbull, who was is a special effects writer, director, filmmaker, and artist. And it was Trumbull who helped devise the look and the experience that you will see in this film, most notably at the end of the film, where the lead character, Dave Bowman, played by Keir Dullea, goes through what's called a Stargate sequence. And it was this effect, this work of Trumbull, that created a must-see event for people in 1968. Trumbull later went on to do the special effects work in films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Blade Runner, and many others. And he's still at work. Today. And he is as much of a part of 2001, really, as even Stanley Kubrick is. In closing, I will say that this film is, in a lot of ways, an extraordinary prophet in how technology develops and how it affects all of our lives today. You will see in this film technology an antecedent to technology that we all take for granted. You'll see an astronaut looking at a tablet that's sitting on the desk, and he's looking at the news as it's scrolling down. It's an iPad. You'll see another character having a video teleconference with his daughter while he's in space. That's science fiction reality for us today. The phones that are in your pocket, your Alexa at home. I mean, that kind of interaction that we have with technology is what these characters have with pretty much the one major character in this film that I should mention, and that's a character that has no face, and that's HAL 9000. Siri is just like HAL 9000, only less homicidally inclined, I guess. So this is a film that has not aged a day since it came out in 1968, and you were here in the right element, the right environment to experience this film, because it is an experience. It is, as the posters called it in '68, the ultimate trip, and you're in for a treat. Have you not ever seen this film? So please enjoy it. From 1968, Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey.